We're coming up on a Supreme Court pick. One of the justices has retired, and President Biden will get to pick this. And one thing I pledge to all voters, I don't care whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent, whoever President Biden picks, I will be polite, I will listen to their qualifications, and I will not make false accusations about things they might have done in high school. I will not, pay credence and trot people in front of the media who make outlandish claims that call them names and insinuate things about their character and their actions that aren't true and that are based simply on a vendetta. What they did to Justice Kavanaugh was inexcusable and without any precedent. And typically, if people make unfounded accusations, they're put in an FBI folder. The senators read them in private and decide whether to believe them or not. But with Justice Kavanaugh, they trotted a woman before us to allege rape and abuse and all of these things with no support. Nobody was there to support. The one woman she said was with her said it never happened. So this is the kind of thing that, at least as Republicans, I pledge to do better. I will treat President Biden's pick with respect. Doesn't mean I'll necessarily vote for them. I will keep an open mind till I hear who they are and what they stand for, but I will give them an even shake and I will not make personal accusations or ad hominem attacks on them. That I promise you. The one other issue before we go to the phones is Ukraine. We're all concerned about, more war. I have friends whose sons serve in the military, and I don't want them to lose their lives just wantonly or without any real purpose. There's potential of Russia invading Ukraine. I don't want that to happen. I think we should do everything we can to deter them. But I also think that there are other people who live closer to that battle whose responsibility it is more than it is America's. So one of the ways that we can deter Russia from invading Ukraine is the people who buy a significant amount of natural gas from Russia. That would be Germany and Europe. I think they're the ones who have the ability to deter Russia, to say, if you invade Ukraine, we won't buy your natural gas. See, people think it goes one way. They say, oh, Europe's dependent on Russian natural gas. Well, Russia's also dependent on the money that the Europeans pay them. It's an interdependence. That's what trade is about. So I think that Russia and particularly Germany has deterrent power. And I think that those threats of what will happen if they invade, I think if Germany's strong enough, I think they can deter Russia. I don't think it's a given that they will invade, but we're going to find out in the next couple of days to weeks. I do think, though, that diplomacy has to have sticks and carrots and sticks. Saying we'll sanction you or not buy your natural gas is a stick. You're trying to say this is what we'll do to you if it happens. But on the carrot side, I think it's a reasonable proposition to say to Ukraine, really, you used to be part of Russia for 300 years. Do you really want to be in a military alliance against Russia? It is for certain guaranteed to escalate tensions. The best way to imagine it is to imagine Mexico being part of a military alliance with Russia against the United States. Do you think we'd tolerate that? Do you think we'd be happy with Mexico on our border being aligned with Russia? No, we'd be hopping mad. So I think that we have to understand our adversary's perspective. And I think we have to do what we can to de-escalate the situation. Now, I listened to President Biden today, and I didn't want to immediately criticize him. He is talking about the possibility of continuing talking to Russia and diplomacy. Diplomacy is not weakness. Diplomacy is something that we do because we're smart enough to know the dangers of nuclear war. Reagan negotiated with Gorbachev from a position of strength, but he negotiated. So I won't immediately criticize President Biden, and I will wish him the best because I don't want to send friends of mine and their kids to war with Russia. And I will do everything, whether it's Republican or Democrat, to make sure that there are adequate discussions of diplomacy and that war is the last resort, not the first resort.